Being an asshole, what is attractive about that is independence, the confidence to speak your opinion, the firmness with which you're acting. When someone is very, aggressive or mean or toxic, it comes off very like barbed and sharp. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about assholes versus nice guys and who gets more girls. Now the quick answer to that is that nice guys actually get more girls. And the reason why that's true is because what I think everyone on the internet seems to be confused about is what it means to be a nice guy, what it means to be an asshole. And I think that a lot of the guys who are selling the idea of being an asshole, I think that they have an image in their head of what that means, but it's not always clearly communicated to the viewers. And it's a reader problem and a watcher problem where they don't think for themselves and go, okay, he's presenting me an idea, but he's probably using his own experiences and he has certain ways of speaking that maybe I'm misinterpreting or thinking of this way. I need to go out and test it and I need to live it. But I see very clearly on the internet, and because I can see the real-time effects of it, because I have clients coming to me with these ideas and these stereotypes of what it means to be an asshole and a nice guy, and I'm like, where are you getting this notion? And some of them are experienced in it and they just haven't let go of some of the negative traits of like being an asshole. And then I have some guys who are inexperienced, and so it just exists as an idea in their head. And I think that's a large population of the people who are on the internet talking about don't be a nice guy, don't be a simp, you gotta be an asshole, women don't respect you. And it can go very extreme sometimes. I want to demystify this idea of an asshole versus a nice guy, because for the most part, nice guys get more girls. The guys who I know who are nice guys, they have the teeth to be an asshole when they need to be. And in certain situations, they can be very opinionated and stand up for themselves, and sometimes, unfortunately, belittle others and compete with others very fiercely. But for the most part, they're quite nice and quite equitable and diplomatic and charming and sweet. So this idea of being an asshole, I'm starting to go, okay, I think we're way overblowing this, because if you say, okay, you need to be an asshole with girls, let's use a stereotype. What do you just walk up to her and say, hey, you fucking bitch, you wanna suck my dick? Oh my God, he's not a simp like the other boys, and he's not liking every photo on Instagram. Oh, my pussy's so wet, just gushing like a real man, right? I know that's a caricature and it's a joke, but sometimes when I see, be an asshole, and I see people who criticize the idea, I understand where they're coming from. Because I'm putting myself in their shoes now, and I'm trying to counter the things that I've believed. I knew they had nuance, but I think that when we're communicating these ideas, people don't see that nuance because you're not in my head. So that's obviously not gonna work, right? I've had, quick exception, I have had some scenarios where I'm incredibly toxic and I'm an incredible asshole, but there were other characteristics going on that allowed me to get away with it. So you can be incredibly toxic and it can work, but it's very, very, very nuanced, okay? There's so much more detail there. So don't be going around, telling people to kill themselves and calling people bitches, and that's just not gonna work. That's not what an asshole means, okay? So what is it about assholes that are attractive to women? Because there is obviously something to it, okay? Being an asshole, what is attractive about that is independence, the confidence to speak your opinion, the firmness with which you're acting. When someone is very, aggressive or mean or toxic, it comes off very like barbed and sharp. And it's that they're opinionated, and it's that they're not afraid to call someone out when they're not being respectful of them. They have a big ego, so they're ready to protect it. And people respect that. Even if they begrudgingly respect it or dislike the person, they're still gonna keep their distance and treat it like an animal who has claws. Whereas conversely, a guy who is stereotypical nice guy, well, they may be so diplomatic and so empathetic that, well, that's one part as well, is when someone's an asshole, they can maybe temporarily shut off their empathy, or they might even be a sociopath. And when they aren't so befuddled by everyone else's emotions, because they're not this radio station that's taking in every signal, and they're just like, you gotta please everyone. People can see that, and they see it as someone who's very in control of themselves. And that's very attractive, especially to women. They do want men, right? So a man who's not so torn by different emotions, he's very calm and just knows what he wants and goes after that. That leadership quality is very attractive. So someone who's nice, who's overly empathetic, overly sensitive, is too worried about hurting the other people's feelings, and isn't bringing himself to the table and making his desires clear, his opinions clear. He's not as confident when he speaks them or expresses them. Okay, that's not attractive. It's not attractive to people in general. We don't find it inspiring. We find them too flimsy and too hesitant. And so we don't follow them into battle if you're a man, or we don't follow them into the bedroom if you're a woman. So it's not that they're being an asshole. It's not that being mean makes you attractive. It's the qualities that are usually associated with those kinds of people that we find attractive. And here's where the myth really gets busted. The asshole, what you see, because maybe from your perspective, where you're not getting as much success, and maybe you are overly sensitive and overly not as confident in yourself and overly blocked by your fears and your insecurities, and you're not willing to just go for it. When you see these people acting, you see them at the club with the girls, or it was your high school bully, or it's someone who you just see walking with a girl on the street and he has an attitude, and you just automatically assume he's an asshole, right? Because we could just think they're an asshole, but they're not necessarily an asshole. When you see these people, you're seeing their successes. And this goes to, like, in general, when you see millionaires, when you see famous people, what you didn't see is all of their failures and the costs of who they are and how they've gotten there. And the lack of efficiency that some of these people are working with. If you see an asshole, he's got all the girls at the club on him, he's making out with them. What you're maybe not seeing is he actually taking these girls home? When he gets home with them, or is he actually sleeping with them? Because you could take a girl home and then she doesn't want to sleep with you. Once he does start sleeping with them, maybe he turns into a little fucking bitch and he starts chasing after them and getting overly emotional. There's so many details that you're not seeing when you reduce someone to the stereotype. And when it comes to specifically being an asshole, what you don't see is all of the drama that they have to put up with. Yeah, maybe she was super into like his sense of humor and he didn't give a fuck and he was all cool. That's great for the first few times seeing him, but then what you don't see is that he keeps on doing it, and in the wrong scenario. It's kind of like if you were to date a comedian, right? I'm sure plenty of girls are excited to date the comedian, but then when they realize that they have to listen to his jokes all the fucking time, everywhere, and he's always being sarcastic and he's always being an asshole, it probably gets a little bit tiring. That's why you see so many comedians complaining about all their fucking relationship problems, because they're probably really fucking annoying in real life. It's nice on the stage for a couple hours, but in an actual relationship, assholes tend to have a lot of problems that you're not seeing. And I know because I've been one. I've been the asshole many times, and it was great with girls and I get great reactions, but it was polarizing. I'd get so many great, like, movie-worthy experiences. And then the day after, I continue to be that person and I do it in the wrong way and she's not in the mood. And I start drama and I gotta deal with, making her not upset at me, or just like not giving a fuck if she's upset at me, but then I'm not gonna see her anymore. And maybe I did like her, but I'm so focused on keeping up that image of being an asshole, right? That I lose her even though I really wanted her, but I'm not mature enough to just be diplomatic and speak past the problem that we're having. So there are so many consequences to being an asshole and being a bad boy and being a douchebag that you don't see when you don't have success. But when you actually are successful with women, what you're gonna see is that most of the guys who actually get a lot of girls, there's plenty of guys who are assholes and get lots of girls, but the most successful men I know are actually nice guys. Now here's the way that you kind of solve the puzzle. It's like, okay, the nice guys have these qualities that make them not good with girls. The assholes have these qualities that do, but then they have all these problems. Well, how do you solve it? Well, what you do is you take the qualities of the asshole that are attractive, and then you just remove the fucking toxicity from it. And then you combine it with the diplomacy and the empathy and the compassion and the sensitivity of the nice guy, and you learn when to express what trait and in what scenario, and that's going to take experience. But you don't need to be an asshole. So this notion, next time you're thinking about like girls and how to get better with girls, and if you're being too nice, or you know, if girls think you're a pussy, you're not being alpha enough, what you need to ask yourself is, well, maybe I'm actually being too much of an asshole. I know plenty of guys who are not getting girls and they're fucking douchebags. They're snarky, they're fucking sarcastic, they think they're fucking great, but girls aren't attracted to it. So just having that attitude in and of itself is not attractive. You still have to maybe fundamentals, get in shape, dress well, all that shit, but also you have to know when to be an asshole in the right scenario, and know when you're going too far, and know when that humor is funny and when it's not funny, and when to just be normal and just be nice and just have a normal conversation. And that can actually be really attractive. I think what we're afraid of is that, okay, if we're not being an asshole, then we're being boring. But what you need to realize is that a lot of times being kind of not try hard and not attempting to be so full of personality is actually what's going to make you very attractive, because it's not going to be having this aggressive energy that makes people combative. Because that's what's wrong with being an asshole, is it brings up the defenses of women and it makes them combative and they want to fight back and they want to fight your ego. But if you're taking that away, you don't even necessarily have to be nice. You can just be diplomatic, right? You don't have to always be, you know, get rid of the stereotype. You don't have to be complimenting her all the time. You don't have to be like, okay, what did you say? Oh, okay, yeah. And you don't have to have weak body language and always reacting to everything she's saying. Try to do this. Just don't do any of that, and then don't do any of the asshole stuff. Just be sort of funny. Just be sort of nice. Just be sort of, kind of go in the middle and see how the reactions of people start to, being kind of just normal, you're gonna get great reactions from people, because most people are actually not normal. It's actually it's a strange realization, but once you see that most people are incredibly fucked up in their behaviors and in their psychological problems and their traumas, being normal is actually fairly attractive. And if you add on top of that things like you're well-read, you dress well, you're in shape, when you do make a funny, you know how to make it funny. When you express yourself, you know how to express yourself in a interesting manner, but it's not like you're trying to be offensive and you're not trying to be nice. It's just a little flair. It's a little bit of color on the way that you express yourself. It can be just this, like just the smallest nuances of expression of you're speaking and you kind of do this. Like each personality is going to express it differently, but those little details, that's enough to make her attracted. That's enough for her to go, this guy's interesting. And then you're not raising her defenses or making her, pissing her off or doing any of the negative things that the asshole is doing that he takes along with his positive qualities. So get rid of this idea that you have to be an asshole or a nice guy. You can be strong and diplomatic, and you can be funny, but you're not overdoing it. You can be firm, but you know when to be firm and when to just relax and sit back. And so start to pull back that energy, and I think what you're gonna see is that you're gonna be leaving women more room for them to be injecting their personality into the seduction, and it's more of a cooperative act. So, you know, no more insulting, no more, don't tease her too much, condescending vocal tonalities, sarcasm, snarky facial expressions, being contrarian simply for the sake of being contrarian and disagreeing with her, just so you can be disagreeable. Disagreeableness is attractive when it's something that you genuinely disagree with. But if you are a person who's highly opinionated and everything pisses you off and you think everyone's wrong, that could be the source of your problem. So pull that back and just stop being so opinionated and just sometimes choose not to open your fucking mouth and see how much better receptions you get from people in general, and especially women when you're dating them. So you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to be a nice guy. Think more complex about this. It's much more nuanced and it has levels to it. And when you let go of the stereotypes, you start to form this very interesting, multi-dimensional, and infinitely creative identity that can be attractive however you want it to be with any type of girl and in any situation. You can make your own seducer. Build a bear and build a seducer. So build your own seducer and build your own personality. by putting all the qualities together and having fun with it. Cool. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stop being a douchebag and stop being a pussy. Follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and seriously, stop being a piece of shit. Okay, bye.